Welcome back, everyone, to Red Spotlight Entertainment, of course, for our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reaction and commentary series made for the longtime S.H.I.E.L.D. fan that wants to come back on here and talk endlessly about one of our favorite shows of all time. I'm, of course, Alexis, joined by David, here for episode 17 of season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is going to be The Team, written by DJ Doyle and directed by Ella D. Keane. This was originally broadcast on April 19th, 2016, to 2.85 million viewers. Of course, it returns our returning stars, Clark Gregg, Ming-Na Wen, Brett Dalton, Chloe Bennett, Ian DeCasticker, Elizabeth Henstridge, Henry Simmons, and Luke Mitchell. And of course, returning appearances by Powers Booth as Gideon Malik, Juan Pablo Raba as Yoey Gutierrez, Natalia Cordova Buckley as Elena Yo-Yo Rodriguez, Mark Dacascos as Guerra, and Gabriel Salvador as Lucio. I think that's how they pronounce his name. Yeah, we are already in the thick of it for season 3. I think in many ways the episode that we're about to watch, I think, kind of sets up where the rest of the season is going to go. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does a lot of things, I think, to such a degree of excellence. Like, they're able, I just, like, every season, for the most part, they're able to really make 22 episodes thrilling and exhilarating and exciting just about every step of the way. And I feel like with this season, they've done such an amazing job at being able to basically, for the most part, tell a single story. But I feel like with this season, they've kind of were able to find such a really good balance where they are kind of like always having their foot on the pedal, as they were with season 2. But they also incorporated some of the elements from the first season, where we would have not necessarily standalone episodes, unless if you want to consider 4,722 Hours as a standalone episode, although that also was pushing everything else, the main narrative, forward as well. But there's definitely been a couple of episodes now where it's focused on a couple of characters for the most part, while still telling a full story for the ensemble every single week. And I feel like with this season, they found such a sweet balance. And by the time you get to the 17th episode of a 22 episode season, you're like, come on, let's just go ahead and get it over with, right? But I feel like with S.H.I.E.L.D., not once have I ever felt that way. I just feel like every time it gets close to the end of a season, they kind of ramp it up, and I think it just gets you excited no matter what. This episode that we're going to watch is going to be one that I feel a lot of people were basically waiting for ever since the end of season 2, when they first kind of teased Secret Warriors. I do have to go ahead and preface this by, I feel like remembering at the time that this episode aired, and then also with whatever the rest of season 3 was, did not ultimately live up to what people had in their minds about what they thought S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to do as they incorporated the Secret Warriors onto the show. Ultimately, it just seemed like an idea that either was short-lived or an idea that perhaps they wanted to delve into, but ultimately chose to focus on other things instead. Or maybe there was interference by Marvel Entertainment, or just say Marvel Studios, rather, about what they could and couldn't do. Season 3 already evidently is a season that has had a lot of outside meddling, some of it internal, but for that to be happening, I feel it should be commended how incredible this season has been, despite things happening outside of their control, with the main actor for Hive having to drop out, with the network basically forcing them to drop two of their best characters. And yet here we are. So that's just kind of catching everybody up on where we are. David, I believe we have some comments from the last episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, from 15. That's what we're going to read.
Oh, for episode 15?
Yeah.
Which is Watch Dogs?
Space Time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Forgot about Space Time. Okay, go ahead.
So first one's from Silva. Greetings, my fellow agents. Hope all is well as always. Just wanted to say that AOS showrunners said season 5 ends right before the snap. Okay. Yeah.
That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And I take them for their word. You do have to also just keep in mind, there's just a lot of context that's for, I think, the normal person, and I'm not saying Silva is the normal person in the S.H.I.E.L.D. world, and I know Silva knows their shit, to be clear about that. But for a lot of people out there who may not even be aware, because I mean, every person from now until the end of time that watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to begin with this idea of like, oh, it's all connected. But then by the time that we get to the end of season 5, and they freaking mention Thanos, by the way, like several times, and then, wait, there are 2 more seasons, and wait, where's the snap? Oh, I saw a comment today on, I think today or this week, Ami released his reaction to the first episode of season 6. And one of the comments left on that video suggested that originally ABC was not sure when exactly they were going to put season 6 on the air. You have to keep in mind that when season 5 ended, when season 5 was, first of all, season 5 I'm sure was finished shooting probably weeks before Infinity War came out in theaters. So I feel like I don't even, why am I even talking about this right now? We're not even at season 5. I don't want to get into, this is too much to go into, but just, this is how I get lost. Basically, Jed Mo, I'm sure, thought that's it, the show's over, and for our sake, it happens before Snap, if people that care. Then the show got picked up, and they probably wanted to address the Snap, or maybe even sidestep it, whatever it was, but ABC was not sure when exactly it would be back. They were thinking maybe the winter, maybe the spring. It ended up being that season 6 would not come back until June 2019, which was already after Endgame. So when season 6 is being written and subsequently shot, which was before Endgame, months before Endgame even came out in theaters, Jed Mo knew what happened in Endgame, but they were not allowed to reference anything that happened in Endgame because they were not sure when exactly ABC would put them on TV. And if somehow ABC put them on TV, let's just say December 2018, that would kind of spoil what happens in Endgame. So they could not make that reference there or that mention. So it's like, yes, that's true. Snap this, snap that. I'm sorry, I'm snapped out.
No, yeah. Just after,
that's where we're,
after season 5, like, who cares? Really? Yeah, like you said, I'm sure they wanted to keep it in continuity, look, but it's just, it got messy.
When we get to season 5, best believe we're going to be talking about this for I think a good bit of time. But right now, please don't make us relive this right now. Next question.
Okay. Same thing. Silva. Timeout. What? First Jaws and now Terminator. I mentioned that I never saw the first one. Undershoot.
I have to say though, I do understand Coulson's rage. Or it's like, yeah, the Terminator is, the original Terminator is great. It's different than Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is an amazing action movie. Terminator, the original one, is just a slash horror movie, basically, with sci-fi elements thrown in there. I don't know what to say. I just feel like sometimes, like, I often am the one in the group that, has blind spots to the dismay of everybody here, apparently. So it would be pretty, like, I think hypocritical of me to like fault anybody for not seeing something. That being said, let me go ahead and do that. There were plenty of opportunities. I mean, Jaws, for instance, just had its 50th anniversary, and I know I went to go and watch it in theaters twice, actually, because the movie is that good.
I saw The Sound of Music. I mean, it's not like I'm ignoring all the classics.
I did too. I'm like, yeah. No, I'm not saying that you're ignoring it.
Yeah.
It's. I just think like you're trying to make the first time that you watch it special. The 50th would have been a good time for it, but I feel like maybe you were just too busy. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I assume happened.
Yeah. Silva also said, under Shield Protocol 7584, all Shield agents must have watched both films to be level 7 and above. Do your homework, agent.
Look, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't believe I watched any Terminator movie. At any point, when Agents of Shield was airing. You see, we all have our blind spots. I mean, I didn't watch a movie called The Sound of Music until just a few weeks ago. I was like, all right, let's go watch it. Watched it in theaters, loved it. Then a few weeks later, guess what I have in my hand? It's The Sound of Music.
Yep.
So it's like, okay. Hey.
Okay. And then
Next.
Silva again. Alex McLevy from AV Club is a garbage critic. Hello.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's in response to the critiques he was having of space-time. If I'm not, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But at this point, I would have to go back and like watch. But I do feel we were like a little bit not in agreement with what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But also I don't necessarily know too much of Alex McLevy's opinions on much anything else, you know. I mean I'd like to be able to agree with you completely, Silva, but I just don't. I'm not familiar enough with the person's like repertoire of like critiques, unless you were just in reference to whatever review that it is.
Mm-hmm.
To which I mean, fair, I would say. Next person or next comment.
Just finishing Silva's. I'll mention my underrated episode next time, so I don't monopolize the next comment, next section, segment.
No, leave 1,000 comments. I mean, look, if you leave 10 comments, I think David and I would really dedicate a whole episode to that. Like literally, like leave all the comments you want. I mean, I don't care about spam. Not at all. Please, whatever thought comes into your mind, and if you want to leave it in the comments below, feel free, please, always.
Next one's from Serenity. My beloved space-time, it's timey-wimey and emotional as fuck. And yeah, it sets up my favorite season of the series. Both Charles and Robin die protecting Daisy so that she can change the future. I love my
Yeah, that happens to Robin in the future when she's an old woman. That's right, in season 5.
Yep. I'm one talking about characters thinking they might be invincible. Also plays into what he just saw with Fitzsimmons and Yo-Yo in season 5 too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. The X-Files is brilliant and so infuriating. So yeah, I suggest going back to it, but just know it is occasionally the dumbest show to ever exist. I love it, I swear.
What show?
X-Files. Yeah, because I for sure mentioned that I was like, try getting into it.
Yeah, you were not feeling it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we'll see. And then last one's from Shield Vids. I am confused about what you mean regarding my Bobby and Hunter being snap theory. Season 6 and 7 take place in 2019. Then
wait, stop. We commented on that.
Probably
there was a
on the
theory.
video. on a video probably.
What theory are they in reference? I mean, I'm sure the comment would say, but I'm like, I
Mm,
don't recall reading a comment about Bobby and Hunter being snapped, or forgive me
because
if I'm. Go ahead.
yeah, because I mean, the last comment from Shield Vids is, I always imagined their adventures after the series, fighting ninjas and just getting into crazy stuff until season 5.
Yeah.
One theory I had was that they were snapped at the end of season 5, which is why we don't see them return. And as to what,
I mean, I don't think there was any particular problem with that part of it. I feel like if that's something you want to feel happened, sure. I mean, I feel like I never want to be somebody that dissuades anyone's personal headcanon, and I hope that wasn't interpreted that way. I feel like ultimately, like in my headspace, um, I just honestly verge on the side of like what the show does, and then just not even address it. Like, to me, if you ask me, Bobby and Hunter probably lived happily ever after half of the time, fought the other half and separated the other time, and then, you know, off on their own adventures, blah blah blah. But like, um, it to me, it's just hard to compartmentalize like all the things about the MCU at large. And to be quite frank with you, I'm not in the mood, and haven't been in the mood for many years now, to consider the larger MCU at all, much less to how it ties into Agents of Shield. Because to me, Agents of Shield stands tall as probably the best anything that came out of the MCU. And the most hilarious thing is that the MCU had nothing to do with the show, and many times the MCU kind of got in the show's way, and treated it like crap and its fans like crap throughout the entire time that it was on the air. Which ultimately is the thesis statement for this entire podcast that we do here, and then why it was kind of the impetus for us starting it in the first place. So it's like my personal feelings, they're complicated. I mean, ultimately, as a fan, if you really want to get into it, it's like when season 5 happened and the team broke the time loop, I believe that was the part where they kind of spurred on into a different timeline, because it would really make no sense that the show veered off before then. I think at some point they were in a time loop. If you want to think about it, the Battle of Wakanda and Infinity War was happening at the exact same time as the Battle of Chicago was happening, when Graviton and Quake are going at it. And before Thanos came and snapped everybody in the original timeline, Quake and Graviton blew up the Earth, basically. And I guess subsequently Thanos got caught in that, and everybody else, and nobody was ever blipped originally, because the blip is also never mentioned in the future, 90 years or whatever it was. That's my personal theory. And then when things were happening when they came back to the past, when they broke that time loop, they created a new branched reality and they went off into their own. But it runs into problems because somewhere in between season 6 and 7, the snap happened, the blip happened. Fitz evidently on the screenplay for the final episode of the show quoted that event having happened. So I mean, it's up to you what you want to think about happened. It's like you can say that the snap happens right after season 5, but then it literally says that a year later, we're in season 6, the snap has not happened, but then at the end of season 7, evidently it has happened. This is not the time I think to discuss any of this, because I can barely make it up myself. But it's like I don't. The overall point is like, feel free to share your personal headcanons or your theories about what happens all the time. It was not my place to, and I hope I didn't make you feel as if that part was unrealistic or just. Anyway, go ahead, David.
But I mean, for Shielded's specific theory is that, Bobby and Hunter were snapped during season 6 and 7. Let me see. Season 6 and 7 take place in 2019, then 2020. Bobby Hunter would disappear at the end of season 5 and not return for until 3 years after that. there's no conflict with Endgame, this would be the explanation as to why they didn't show back up. So there's a reason why they wouldn't show up with teens in season 6 and 7.
Yeah.
But I mean, either or, like I would have taken either or. You know, if they're snapped out of this existence, okay, there's an explanation. They weren't. Would have liked them to be in either one of those seasons. It would have been cool. But yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I was holding out hope until the very end that Bobby and Hunter would make some kind of appearance at the very end. And I mean, I guess it would be if you're somebody that believes that the snap, if we're in season 6 and the snap happened, it just seems like, doesn't it just seem weird that it's just never brought up if the snap did happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just like a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question.
These ones from 16. You want to read them?
We'll do that next time.
Okay.
I don't want to belabor it anymore. We were already so late into, tonight for other reasons, but for this. Oh, hello, you. I missed you. Let's go ahead and begin the episode.
Previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Saw a vision of the future.
What did you see?
My death. My killer. It was him.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this might be the final episode with Powers Booth. And if that's the case, I just want to say it now. What an actor. I really have enjoyed having him on the show. Great villain. I wish he could have stayed on longer. But, you know, everybody has to have a, I guess, jumping off point.
Only maybe not tonight.
Really?
I'm sorry, something's come up.
I would have said something more specific, like, hey, my mom's in the hospital, or my brother got arrested, or something. To say something came up, dude, come on. Right? Like, that's...
Kidnapping Inhumans, global terrorism, all around bad dudes.
How'd I take the plane?
Don't know.
What's the base's layout?
Don't know.
How many soldiers?
We don't.
You don't
You
know.
don't know.
I just realized my mic was on mute. He did it.
Oh, shit.
Dang it. But I was agreeing with you about the whole coming up with a better excuse.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, each of us has been given a gift. Let's put him to good use.
This is the moment that Daisy has been waiting for the entire season. The way he just stopped and let him go in first.
Well, guess we can call this area clear.
Have you noticed there, Bear McCreary, what a man you are. That's the original Sky theme that he just brought back in there as she entered in, which is, I love that.
Yo creo que por lo menos hay 6 tipos allá afuera. ¿Tú?
En el pasillo. 4. Tenías razón. Eran 6.
He's getting better.
Yeah.
As an agent.
It's really funny, you know, this theme is like Sky's theme is also like Sky's, it's a theme that represents Sky's longing for a family. I guess I think Bear brought this back. It's like, hey, this is like the, you know, I guess like the Daisy family. Like, it's like she's the head of it in this instance. It's like she finally has her Inhuman brothers and sisters, and they're all kind of acting as one unit. And the way that Bear is kind of interpreting this theme in a more like I guess kick-ass version of it, which that's just kind of what I'm getting off of hearing why this track is being heavily used, because we just heard it again when Daisy entered that room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty big because it's like, this is a momentous episode for, like, you know, she finally gets to like lead the Inhuman team, the Inhuman family, And she said on many times throughout the season, like, I mean, people have kind of accused her of like, well, it sounds like a halfway house for Inhumans. It's like, okay, not really, but like she does feel in a way like not necessarily living up to Jiaying. Jiaying obviously turned evil in the end, but for a long time of her life, she did nothing but help her kind. And I feel like a lot of the original spirit of who Jiaying lives very much in Daisy. And she very much throughout this season has been trying to kind of create her own way as the future for Inhumans. And the tragedy of this episode is for how like triumphant it begins, it ends in such calamity, to which not only is this team just completely broken, the team as in like these 4 Inhumans, like, I mean, one of them literally never comes back to the show. And then when it comes to the main overall team, it Mac Mac's reaction, but just the overall team, Daisy kind of like, this is the last time we're going to see Daisy a part of like the SHIELD team, really.
Sorry, had to get the band back together. Got anyone who can fly
So like
this thing?
halfway through season 4?
May, you can't even walk.
So things
can
are
still fly.
changing. Also, I know I talked over like a series of pretty amazing sequences.
Yeah, there
like,
was. I mean,
right? Like, I'm sorry, but
I forgot what's the first one I was gonna bring up, but I mean the biggest standout for me was what's the name? The one that melts the metal.
That's Joey.
Joey. The way, for one thing, like just took over after Lycan got crashed down and killed the dude with the crazy eyes.
Lucio, yeah.
Lucio. First of all, like I for sure realized right away that was probably his first kill, and I like that they took the time to show that like he realized like, oh shoot, I just probably killed the guy for the first time, and he looks at Powers Booth. Malik, yeah, kind of like blaming him, like I did this because of you now. That's, you know, because you started all this. I really like that shot.
Yeah. I love Malik's poser. It's like, could this day possibly get any worse? And then, of course, Coulson.
I thought that I could bring back the Hydra and guide it the same way Stephanie commanded that horse. I taught her to have faith in it as a god. And she did.
If you ever want to see her again.
He killed her. Cares nothing for us.
Doesn't sound like a god.
Oh, no, Mr. Coulson, it is a god. It's just not ours.
That delivery.
That's so
that's
good.
like, that's, I mean, it's a god, but it's just not ours. That's a good line, too. I don't know who penned that. Was it DJ Doyle who wrote the episode? That's a good one. That's a good line.
But his little, you know, breaking voice when he's like, he killed her and all that.
Yeah.
Ayuda si hay peligro. SHIELD es el nuevo nombre para el SSR. Desde la Segunda Guerra Mundial.
I have a new name too. They all call me Yo-Yo. Your fault.
Lo siento.
And your Spanish is much better. Not just...
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's more than just one word.
New SHIELD requirement.
It's a new SHIELD requirement.
And then if you,
to learn a different language. I just got that.
Also, Max Spanish, they keep it up. It will get much, much better in the framework. And they'll talk about that even as far away from, like, right now we're in season 3. It'll get brought back up again in the early days of season 5.
It's okay, Mac. I trust you.
You have to remind me, is this only the second episode we've seen Yo-Yo in? Because look, Natalia is like, the way that she's inhabiting this space already feels like she's been part of the show for a long time. And the dynamic that she's already established with Mac Just like that.
Mhm.
Just like that. It's already like firing off and you already know where it's going to go and you already love it. Whereas, by the way, you know what preceded that scene with Yo-Yo and Mac? A scene with Daisy and Lincoln, which is just like...
You put your faith in the Inhumans like I did. It is a deadly mistake.
I mean, even just the scene earlier with both of them, it was just whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I like their conversation. I like, you know, Lincoln telling her like, "Hey, think about the rest of the team. Joey just went through this and all that. Like, that's cool." Not much else.
You sent 4 Inhumans into his lair, and now they're in your base. How many of them do you think he turned? If you trust any of them, stop now.
I think Olsen's look right there is like...
Fuck.
There's a scene in the new movie with Leo DiCaprio and Leo is like, "Don't panic." That's Clark Gregg right here. Clark Gregg's face. It's just like, and of course the music. And automatically when you put this music, it all looks suspicious.
Everything okay?
I need you to quietly lock down the base.
That's good. That was really good. I love that.
And that image of her body lying on that floor, I failed her. What else matters?
What you do next matters.
You trying to sell me on the idea that I can set everything right?
I'm trying to sell you on revenge.
To come and take everything we love.
Let it turn into rage. Tell me how to stop him.
This god is outlived.
I've met gods. Gods bleed.
I never saw my last rodeo being with S.H.I.E.L.D. What would you like to know?
Those two. They're great.
Yeah, I couldn't talk over any of it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I was just so enthralled.
Never talk over Powers Booth. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
He's
no.
so good.
Especially because like it's one of those final scenes. We're getting close to the end here, but it's like the intel that Malik is about to divulge over to Coulson. I think Malik, by the way, already knows he's about to be killed. He knows one of the Inhumans is about to kill him. Because that's the vision he saw from a few episodes ago in space-time. The intel that he's about to divulge is going to be basically a death blow to Hydra. And somehow in the background, some other lower level Hydra people, General something, and then also General Hale, through, I don't know if Malik is aware of this, maybe or not, but some Hydra agents in the background have established a deal with the Confederacy. The Confederacy, which is this union of races coming together, and Hydra, that was disgusting. Hydra made a deal with the Confederacy after the Battle of New York. More of that will come into play, but there is an episode in season 5 where they mention that S.H.I.E.L.D. has just captured Gideon Malik and they're preparing themselves for him giving up the goods on a lot of secret spaces. Oh, God.
They're all over the base. It's a threat.
We need to quarantine them. I don't know how to convince
Telling
them.
them is too dangerous. We have to ice them.
I would have said just ice them from the beginning. Everybody. I'm sorry. But when it gets to this level of like, we don't know who we are, ice them, put them up in containment, and then figure out later because... Not the last time rubble will fall on Fitz.
There's a situation, Daisy. I need you to get your team to cooperate.
But we attacked.
Everything will be all right. I just need you to stay right where you are.
This is not the way, guys. Fucking ice them. What are you waiting for? Like, you've already made it so obvious what's going on here. Just ice them.
First, we get everyone in quarantine, and then we can talk.
Not everyone. Anybody in here could have killed Malik. But you singled us out right away.
Lincoln, stop it.
I wonder why, Lincoln, they singled you guys out. Because you're freaking Inhumans.
Malik, whatever he said to Coulson has him spooked.
But he could be wrong. I mean, they're taking his word for it?
Son cerdos del gobierno, te lo dije. Confiamos en ellos y nos traicionaron.
What?
What?
Screw Shield.
Now I can see why. No Fitzsimmons quarantined Lucio's body.
Why didn't they tell us sooner?
If that's true, this is exactly why Coulson didn't say anything.
No, if that is true, I don't want you telling me what to think. Any of you. We were all alone in that base. Any of you could be infected.
Any one of us. That includes you.
Oh my god, just the escalation of it. Oh, I love it.
It's not a bullet wound, so how'd you get it?
I fight 10 people. Accident. ¿Por qué no me cree? Ayúdame a explicarle.
Es extraño que no recuerdes.
What are you saying? Could you please speak English right now?
No eres espía, aprende español.
I agree.
Which, by the way, Bobby called her out for that a few episodes ago, if you remember.
Yeah.
And other spies, too. Bobby was like, really, guys? We're spies. We're supposed to do, like, several languages.
Let me guess. When you decided to leave, Lincoln didn't want to go. Not without his prize. This was taken from the assets room and hidden in your locker.
I didn't do that. Daisy, you have to believe me.
You know how to get in there. You've stolen from that room before.
Yeah, that was different.
No.
I don't know. We didn't talk to most of that, but like,
That was such a great series of sequences. There's also, look, Daisy did Lincoln so dirty because obviously we know she set him up.
mm-hmm.
And look, ultimately, I think the audience, we as S.H.I.E.L.D. audience members, like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, we saw Lincoln be the first one come pretty close to Hive back in Transia. There was even a knowing, like, look back then about a few episodes. That was the episode Space Time when they were on the rooftop or, I guess, somewhere in the building. And then, of course, Lincoln has no control over his anger issues. None whatsoever. So, of course, he's beginning to just freaking, like, throw a tantrum like a child.
I think I don't want to be
And
here
then-
anymore.
Lincoln really has nobody to blame but himself, ultimately, for how that went down, because he's just so easily manipulated and susceptible to the, you know, his anger problems that Daisy just, like, played him like a fiddle. But as is about to be revealed pretty soon, it's all a lie.
Because I've got something magnificent right here. A picture of space. One of my prized possessions, that is. And I don't know why that makes significance to me.
You know, this is, I don't know if it's regarded as one of the best, but this is a damn good episode.
Yeah. This is
Like, I
good.
love, this is so good. And there's still more. I mean, it's not even over yet. There's still more happening that's still going to be like, what is this?
So, this is what Hive's sway looks like. Daisy, he's using you. You're sick.
I'm happier than I've ever been. You get it. You felt an emptiness your entire life like me. We've tried to fill it, but it never works.
That's why he was using the theme too, Bear McCreary, that original the Sky family theme. It's like, this is the episode where she feels like finally, at long last, that void has been filled. The void that she's felt about the search for her parents, but also the void of being an Inhuman and not necessarily, you know, being her true self. It all clicked in right there.
I know what you're gonna do,
We can't let you keep talking.
and I won't be kept from my daughter.
If I'm honest, I might enjoy this.
She really made it hurt. She didn't have to do him like that. She could have just like snapped his neck and be done with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
That was brutal. And that's what he saw in his vision. So
And, yeah.
Malik doesn't matter. He could only hurt us. What we are trying to build.
Do I matter? That little to you?
No, I care about you.
Daisy, I know. Wouldn't betray S.H.I.E.L.D. Wouldn't throw away what we have.
this weirdly like the most chemistry, I guess you could say, between the two of them in the whole series, but like it's a good lead up to it, you know, because like he was so against Shield in the beginning, building up this trust with them, and now he's just kind of like, no, I want to put my trust now with Shield and all that. Even though he was like ready, you know, pissed off at them for like thinking that he was the one infected, he was still like, I understand now. Like, you know, I know everyone's thought process on this, and I want to stay with it. I know they'll believe me at some point. And now this is like kind of like the best moment between the two of them, where he's just kind of like, hold up, what? Where now he just wants to protect Shield too in this moment. And it's great. It's a great moment for Lincoln, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, so if I were Lincoln, I would have agreed to like go with her and then just shock her, knock her out.
Yeah. I mean, I would say maybe the only excuse is, could she infect him? And then maybe he's just like, best to kind of stay away from her.
Well, maybe, I mean, she can't.
No, but like maybe if he was thinking that in that
maybe
moment.
he was thinking, yeah.
That look they gave each other, like, oh shoot, our daughter's infected or something. That was so cool. Great shots.
There's still more episode.
No.
I mean,
Malik built something very impressive with his life. Let's spend it.
whoa,
That was so great.
I gotta tell you, I was not prepared for just what this episode. I mean, I remember, but this is not usually one of the ones that comes to mind about this one. Let's go ahead and go over to Ami.
What? On what? Oh my god. What an amazing episode. Absolutely wonderful. The acting across the board was off the charts. I love the way they set it up too. The way they manipulated our point of view, the way they just kind of seeded all these little things that made us question the reality of the situation. I guess I should have been a little more suspicious of Daisy, considering how, I don't want to say obedient, but like passive she was about everything. But I thought that, again, like everything else that was going on, with suspicion in your mind could be seen as suspicious, but had you not been suspicious is just what they would normally be doing. Like with Lincoln and the painkillers, with Daisy and what she was doing, with Yo-Yo and how she was behaving with Joey and how he was wanting to get out of there. Everything that was going on in there was very normal for them, but given the situation, that normal becomes a little suspicious. It's a little too normal, if you ask me. And that's what I was saying. I was like, I feel like if anybody was thinking rationally in these moments and knew what they got themselves into and what they were dealing with, anybody should be maybe not fine with it, or at least understanding of what they need to do and what they need to go through. It's going to suck, but it's the responsible thing to do. Like with Joey, like with Yo-Yo, obviously with their experiences in the past, they're a little like meh about conceding to any of that, which again is normal for them, but in the moment is really suspicious. They did a really good job at throwing that all around. And I thought, like, for certain, because Daisy led them into that little trap with Coulson, it wasn't her. But she knew The Hive knew how it operates, one, from her own memories, and two, from Ward's memories of how this would function, how best to serve their aims. And it throws us off as the viewer, throws them off as the people pursuing this infection, and God, it was so good. I thought that was the clear-cut indicator she was in the free. I did think that after a point, especially once they started like cornering him and leaning into it, and we saw him looking at the Terrigen crystals, looking at the artifact, which Daisy was there for, so like I felt like all these little things were very strongly trying to get us to think it was Lincoln, and I thought that was going to be the red herring, quite obviously. I was under the suspicion it was Yo-Yo when Mac was monitoring the security systems and we saw her zoom off and grab a gun, but she also zoomed off a couple of other times. And I was like, okay, well, she grabbed a weapon, she grabbed the mine, and then she grabbed the artifact. Though she wouldn't have known how to do that, but with her power, she could have scoured the base easily. I thought she framed Lincoln, and that was going to be how she ended up in the carrier in space with that explosion, is because they haven't come up with a cure, a vaccine, or anything of the sort. So last-ditch effort, they launched her into space with that carrier and just ignited it to get rid of what was infecting her, the particles, the parasite that was already in her. I thought that was going to be the twist. That was going to be
That's brutal.
The case that is still on the cards. And if she's leaving now, maybe she intercepts the other members of the team to try to recruit them, and they don't know that she's infected. Maybe she takes this getaway and then picks them up, and then somehow 1 to 2 or whatever. I mean, because we see that vision, that does mean Daisy's got to be in the ship, right? God damn it. This is stressing me out. I love storylines like this, dude. The Thing is one of the most iconic examples of it, and maybe even one of the first examples of it that I can think of.
Have you seen that one, David?
Body Snatchers, no.
Have you seen The Thing?
The Thing, no.
Oh, Silva's gonna tear you a new one for that one.
Favorite episodes of the show. They, in just 40-some minutes, just like this, do a really tense, like, paranoia-inducing episode that plays out very similarly. Obviously, we have a lot of other stuff to deal with, like with the Malik stuff, with Ward, and a lot of other plot lines we're juggling. And this is not as honed in on that element. That element only really comes in into the back half. But I like the way we're kind of like, they were building up. They're trying to keep it hush-hush. They were trying not to make a scene. Fitz and Simmons are, extracting, as much as they can from them, whatever fluids they can try to test, but they still don't have a good way to actually confirm the infection. But they're trying to ease their minds, And at least after the fact, once that, they threw Lincoln under the bus, seems like Joey was at least a little more compliant there towards the end, as he was just like, hey, I just need to know I'm not infected now that this is a reality here. We had that beautiful moment, speaking of Fitz and Simmons, finally coming together. Like the kiss that was given earlier, I know, like I saw like one comment, it was like, dude, I'm surprised you didn't get the reaction out of that you should have. They finally kissed after all this buildup. And I was like, yeah, but it wasn't a happy kiss. It wasn't a good kiss. It was like a knee-jerk reaction in the moment kiss that wasn't even the right moment. That's not the reward I've been waiting on. This was it. When they were in this moment, they were opening up, they were talking about everything they've been through, and they went for it. And even when he started to second guess himself, she was like, get back in here, big boy. Like, she was like, no. You can't be like, oh, I'm sorry, too fast. This has been 10 years in the making. With all the bullshit that's been going on, anything that could be right around the corner, let's just stop wasting time. And then, bam, 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 they just went right back to it. Great little banter, back and forth, cute as fuck between the two of them. Absolutely, that's what I've been waiting on. And I love that too, like to bring down and get his own revenge against this entity. Malik was willing to just give Coulson everything. I like the way that they connected over this. It wasn't over, Shield's ideals or anything like that. It was about all these things that Coulson's been beating himself up for Rosalind's death, for the revenge he exacted and how that led to this point. And now he could also seek his own sense of revenge by helping them. Again, I love the way we assembled this team, brought them together, and it was a great plan. It was a great move. It worked out pretty well until everything started to fall apart. And now it just feels like that team is just going to be just unraveled. Their trust is shaken. And more so than anything, like what Mac was building with Yo-Yo. Again, like I just feel like you can't blame him. I get her reservations with government organizations and blah 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 blah. But once you realize this is actually happening, I do not understand being that ignorant and that upset about them trying to protect the world from an alien organism that could control minds. The distrust is understandable. This is just where I thought like everybody in that room, given the situation and being boxed in like they were definitely letting their emotions get the better of them. They were not thinking rationally. And if anything, they were just thinking selfishly. No matter what she was thinking about her ideals, like her actions and her point of view was a risk to the planet. That irritated me. And it's not Mac's fault. And they were so cute. I hope we get over that hurdle. And not to mention, like, I'm pretty sure she's going to die anyway, but I really hope they make up. I really hope they kind of mend or rebuild that bridge, at least before that happens. Because that was just her learning English, him learning a little bit more Spanish, and then all of that, and him showing her around, talking about what S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to do, and blah, 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 blah. We were making so much headway, and then it just gets undone completely by, honestly, a reasonable situation, the way they played it out. Is it frustrating? Yes. Once it's revealed what is going on, and you even have proof that it is happening, even if it's not proof because Lincoln was just a scapegoat, but it is in fact happening, and they believed that it was him in that moment. You gotta just wake up to that. I don't know that we followed up back on her after that moment to at least see how she's feeling after that reveal, and what even after this reveal that it was Daisy the whole time. I better see them come around on that, because that is so fucking frustrating. That's one of the things that that always bothers me the most about these storylines. It is real, it is very human, but it's still frustrating as a viewer to watch when you know the grander scale of everything, and it's these scared, selfish acts that people get put into. And it happened in the thing. It happened in that episode of X-Files. It happens every time this happens. People just want out. They want out of the box. You know, like any animal, you get caged back to a corner, you want out of that corner. Whether you may not even be thinking rationally at that point, because you're just thinking about yourself and instinctually, and all those neurons in your brain are just popping off telling you to run, get out of here. You know, but at the end of the day, it's not the right call, and it's not the safe call for anybody, for that matter. Not for you, not for the people you plan to meet, the people you are being kept from. You are a danger to yourself and literally everyone around you, even if you are not infected. The possibility is still there until we can confirm otherwise. Anyway, sorry, long tangent aside, that always bothers me. And it just sucks now too, because I was just combing through this again, just kind of seeing if there's anything I didn't talk about. But like that moment with Daisy and Coulson and him talking about being a leader and all that, and how, like, you know, we never really know if we're making the right calls. It's in those moments where we have to make a tough decision that I understand why people pray, just to kind of get that out of their hands, or to hope that they didn't mess up, you know. And I like that equating to the hive god here as like this parallel for the devil, or even in this universe, the origin of the devil in this universe, or the idea of it, which I think, I mean, if we're tapping into Ghost Rider eventually, I feel like we might have to dig a little bit deeper than that. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that unfolds, but I like that whole conversation. I got kind of on a tangent there, but like that moment between those two, them coming together as leaders, her understanding the sacrifice, the difficulty of making these types of decisions, just for that to not even be Daisy. I mean, I'm sure she's in there, but that just means at this point we have to figure out how to kill this parasite. Because they did make a very pointed observation that they let us know, is that, oh, it's in the brain, but it's not damaging the tissue. It's keeping everything intact. That means if we can find a way to kill the parasite, the brain's going to be undamaged. So there's not going to be any permanent damage for removing the parasite. So we just need to figure out how to do that. And maybe that's what this, you know, project, or at least part of it, you know, we talked about that facility that Ward destroyed that was working on this deterrent for invasive species, you know, for these swarms, these hive creatures that operate in these masses. You know, whatever was there being worked on terrified him enough, or at least was enough of a threat that he needed to wipe it out. And maybe we can get some kind of a clue from that, or at least an inkling of where to go with that to see how it goes. And maybe they can even just, maybe if not kill the parasite, maybe just cut it off from the source, the host. Or that isn't how this works. They are one and the same. So even if they were cut off, would this just kind of be like kind of a budding extension? Or is the mind, the primary mind, the control center in Ward? Like if you killed all of the parasites that make up the body Ward is using as a host, is he technically still alive in the parasites that are in the thralls he's created? I don't know.
Did a quick glance. Eric Goldman and Alex McLivy's reviews. Eric Goldman basically feels like, what? Only one episode of Secret Warriors, but great episode for performances overall. Sad to see Gideon Malik go, or Powers Booth go, I should say, both of them. But happy that he had great scenes in this episode, and that they at least gave him a great death and everything. Alex McLivy felt overall the episode was good, but that there was some, I guess, compromises made with, I guess he took issue with the director of the episode, and also was critical of the fact that there's hallways and endless hallways. Those are the reviews.
That's kind of,
go ahead, David.
That's kind of what you need for this kind of episode.
I mean, right?
Like,
right?
I mean, for like a body snatching storyline, like The Thing, or just any sort of storyline like that, where you can't trust anybody, you want to be confined as much as you can, so that you can build up tension. At least, and what I can say is, like, at least creatively, they used it really, really well, because we know the layout of the base and everything, where one person goes and everything, and they used everything. They used almost like every room that they had to set up certain things. The crystals, that little sphere thing, the weapons, to see like, oh shoot, like that's the one thing I would say to criticize in this episode. It's like, what was the use of the gun with Yo-Yo? Because they showed her that she had one, but when they confronted her about it, she just stole May's gun, and then that's it. I think that's my only criticism. It's like, okay, you only use that to kind of gain tension. See, like, oh, is it her? But
yeah, really that was the only reason. That was the only reason.
Yeah, I think it was just fine for her to just use her speed to go around, and like you can just see it as like, yeah, she's just looking around. She wants to see the layout. Hasn't gone a full tour of it, so I don't think you needed that whole that she stole a gun. But yeah.
I don't know what more there is to say, but boy, do I love this show.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for everybody who is joining us along in the ride. There's still so much more show to go. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.